GM is...
GM, everyone.
So
GM.
we got, well, gonna make it here?
WAGME, for sure.
For sure. So we're gonna do a weather report. I'm gonna test it, if how much you guys can understand. So the weather report for Thursday, June 9, overnight volume is pretty low, total of 38 million, and most of it coming from OpenSea, 32. And we have the blue chips, we have the apes at 95, mutants at 19, and the punks are 47. Moonbirds, doodles, and the clonax are not doing much. We All Gonna Die got delisted by OpenSea. It drops to 1 Ether and now it's already back, so that is solved. We are seeing that the Vice did a piece on the sector where we pretty much put like 90 million on shit, so all the poops are going up. And so we are doing like, all DGens play right now. We have the BTC at 30K, and we have the Ether at 1900s. And what we are seeing here is DGens plays all over.
It's pretty cloudy in that weather report, yeah.
So, but unfortunately, it's what people see as Web3 right now. And we all know that it's not only that, it's just the shiny things that we see, and people are coming for the shiny things. It's amazing to attract people, but we all perceive that a new wave of computing innovation will come and go from this sector, and it all going to be built in decentralized technology, and we're going to talk about that.
That's exactly what we're going to get into. So I am very excited to be here with you all. Though it is a little cloudy out, we are going to have a sunny, bright day because we're talking about the opportunities of Web3. My name is Michelle Abbs, and I am the founder and CEO of Web3 Equity, which is an educational and onboarding company to help even crypto-reticent folks or non-crypto native folks understand how to take their first moves in Web3. I started my career as an educator. I worked for Babson College and ran an accelerator for female founders. And so the equity in the title of Web3 Equity has a dual meaning, which is about ensuring gender equity in Web3 and making sure that alongside us, we've got 2 powerhouse women on the stage, that we make sure Web3 is built in a gender equitable way. And so really excited to think about the future and the opportunities of where we're going. So I want you to also meet, my wonderful panelists.
Oh, I forgot to introduce.
Together. Yeah.
I hope a lot of people, I'm very new on the Spanish community. My background is engineer. I'm engineer by tech and work in telecommunication companies half of my life. And also went for a startup, were able to sell it in Silicon Valley. And I'm now a small investor, but also investigating a lot on how ecosystems are built and growth. And I think that this idea of we all chasing the shiny, it comes from the idea of digital collectibles, and it comes from the idea of people buying digital land. But also brings us on the situation of how we are making things that exist in the real world to the digital world, and how we're going to integrate that on digital experiences. And we're going to see that the interfaces are changing, but we are still humans. We still need to bring that humanity to the play and see how we're going to interface with that in a very meaningful way. Unfortunately, we're all going to create replicas of ourselves. The replicas does exist because we're going to be one person at work, one person. It's the same way we have now. No, we have one person for work, one profile for LinkedIn, one profile for Instagram, and I hope each one of you have a different profile for Tinder, no? But the issue is each of those profiles will come with emotions. It's tough to say because with all the AIs that is being brought to us, we already perceive that people created by AI, this synthetic replicas, they also can bring better emotions. People like, can connect better. So is how we're gonna treat this wave of innovation that also becomes ourselves.
So yeah, so here's where we're gonna go for the next 20 minutes. This is the teacher in me, like I've gotta set the stage, right? So first we're gonna talk about what are the key factors of Web3, because Web3 is very broad. Like let's define what we're actually talking about in terms of factors. Then we're gonna go into, based on that, what are the opportunities for consumers, for corporations, and for investors? And then what are the use cases that we're excited about, but also have some challenges? Because we have to lay all the cards out on the table. This is a bit of an inception moment with Web3, and so there are some very exciting things that are in the path ahead of us, and also some potential landmines that we need to make sure we're thoughtful about. So let's start by defining some of the key factors that make Web3 Web3. And you're really lucky because you've got a technologist and more of a humanist on stage, a macro level and a more micro level. So I'll kind of start in terms of some of the factors, and then I'll let you pick up the more nuanced pieces. So one of the key factors around Web3, which is decentralization, as we know, means that the technology enables users to own their content and to be self-sovereign. And this concept of being self-sovereign is really interesting in the sense that it puts power and control back in the hands of the users. So I can actually own my data. I can own digital assets. I can generate revenue off of digital assets and my data. I can decide where I share my data and what I do with my data, but ultimately, I hold the keys to that. I can't call up Amex or Chase Bank or Sabadell or eBay, where in Spain, I'm sorry, I'm using Miami-based examples, and say, I forgot my password. Can you guys troubleshoot this with me? Where's the customer service team? No.
Or if you lost your ape.
Yeah, or if you lost your ape. No, you are self-sovereign in the sense that you truly own that data, which is exciting, but a key factor for us to think about.
No, for sure. And I think one of the positions that she mentioned is also the fact that when you present your data, you can control it. So it's the sense of like, and there is like a lot of startups going into that direction on how we're gonna secure the different keys we're gonna have. Because again, there is a problem going in the macro level, there is a problem of interoperability. We're gonna have different metaverses. We're gonna have to check in here. So if people are worried about like, their passwords right now, believe like you're gonna have different personalities checking into different spaces and carrying different interfaces or different tools and different bits of you. And that is a little chaos, but like, innovation comes onto that. So there is like startups, there is like one example like Security Key in Canada that they are helping you to understand the different ideas you're gonna be carrying it. And this is also what she mentioned, the permissionless, the fact that, if you like a project, you can go and be part of that project. You don't need to ask anyone, but you like. And at the same way, if that project has a DAO, you can vote for what you want without needing to be, dox yourself, say, I am specialized on this, that's why I can vote. No, you own the token, you're able to vote.
So really quick, doxed, because you did another fun degen word there. Doxed, should we tell them what doxed means?
So in the Web3 world, and because you have like, your wallet always, the way you go and log in is your wallet, you don't need to tell you who you are. So just to put in perspective, in this NFT Web3 world, we are like 500,000 people. It's a very small community, but at the same time, it allows people to come from everywhere. You can be talking with like, someone from 60 years old to a 19-year-old. You can have an artist that comes from like, Damien Hirst that has like an entire history, or a 17-year-old or like a 9-year-old making art. Mm-hmm. So, and that is the point that, you can be doxed or undoxed.
Yeah, so dox means you're not anonymous. Your identity is known to the world, right? And so I think, we talked a lot about sort of on like decentralization as what that means in terms of ownership of data and the sovereignty. But I think a couple other key pieces is Web3 is built on blockchain technology, right? And blockchain technology enables us to write smart contracts and push them on the blockchain. What we can write within a smart contract that is truly a game changer is we can actually decide when this token is minted and created on the blockchain, here are the rules that will happen into the future in perpetuity with this token. And one key factor that is a game changer for us is that royalties can actually go back to the creator of that token. So you can write within a smart contract, wallet address, not human, wallet address, on every future sale of this token will get whatever % of the royalties of this. So when you talk about Damien Hirst, right, and his pieces are going to sell centuries probably beyond. He's a well-known artist. Well, now he can capture a percentage of that revenue in the future in perpetuity. So his grandchildren and great-grandchildren have a part of that. So this concept of smart contracts and what they can do and the royalty structure built into them are key factors and really big opportunities that we see in Web3.
No, and it also gives us a history behind. So the fact that you feel that you are giving back to the artist. Sometimes you go to a gallery and you buy the piece and you never heard about the artist. Another point that is given in this technology is the fact that if someone that is releasing a new season of their art, they are able to contact with everyone that had bought their art before, because there is this connectivity that got generated by he owns on the blockchain all the contract that he related to that. So we are creating relationships that are based on the blockchain. And that in some way, for someone that is starting their career and someone that has been for so long, everyone is starting at the same point. You're releasing your first art in the blockchain, and that is a starting point. And it's going to count from there. And that is also given an amazing tool for people that are starting right now to be able to create a community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this concept of community, I think, is central as well to Web3. And the fact, we talked a little bit about tokens with NFTs. There's another token structure called DAOs. So when you own a token within a DAO, DAO stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. And again, in the smart contract, what is written and can be written into a DAO is that token, as part of the DAO, enables you an ownership share in some shared asset pool. So this is, the ability to vote on governance of that shared asset pool. This is the ability to decide, where we're going, what things we might want to invest in. So DAOs are really also, part of this community structure that is that loop that feeds back. So that token is exercised and is a right and a way for you to engage in that shared asset pool. So we see these right now. There are investment DAOs, there are art DAOs where people pool their funds to be able to buy pieces of art. So maybe they want a moonbird that's on the rise right now and they don't have the 30 or 50 ETH, I don't know what the floor is. So they have a DAO where they share the pool. But then there's the governance piece, this is the community angle, where they engage to vote at what price will we buy that moonbird and at what price won't we? And again, that's all coded within the smart contract in terms of how many votes need to be held. And so this community angle, I think, is really powerful and a tangible way in Web3.
No, for sure. And one piece that people are seeing right now, the entire, down on the market for crypto and everything. One thing that is important to know, crypto has 13 years. And it's seasonal. No, and everything that is built right now, it needs to be taken is like with a different eyes. One of the people that I advise everybody to read about it is Chris Dixon from A66Z. Is the fact that you need to understand the financial environment per se, but at the same time, technological seeds are being planted right now to be able to scale those solutions. We are talking about protocols called optimism, the zero knowledge solutions, and the roll-ups that is being, the entire migration for proof of stake that is needed to be in place to everything to grow. So it takes time, it's complex, and the great idea here is if you're able to develop the frameworks, like the mental models, on how you can use this technology. We are talking about, permissionless. We're talking about open. The open source, the same idea of open source is we can bring about this. The composability, the fact that you can create a project on top of a project. You can start with a community. You can create a DAO. You can create, solutions. You can collaborate. It's for the first time you're seeing like relationships in projects that is not a one-to-one direction. We were talking about, I don't know if anybody heard about Gary Vee, no? We were talking about, it's it's the first event that people travel to Minnesota out of nowhere to see a person, but not to see a person. They want to see the other people in that community. It was a peer relation. Meet the other people that has a stake in that project. It's the first event like that. No, and it's giving you the incentives because you're part of that project. You have the incentives in behavior. The behavior the people change to be much more a pro behavior. So let's talk about some examples. I just mentioned one example.
Yeah.
Is the creation of community. We see creations of solutions that goes, for example, a marketing agency, I don't know if Nifty5 Portal, Rug Radio, those things. The possibility for you to go in a Nike store in the metaverse, and they don't need to know that you like tacos, that where you went for summer, they only need to know your wallet and your address. And you can go there, buy the shoes, get the digital part, get the one in your house, and that's it. There is a downside here. All the market agencies that have been working, tracking us everywhere and collecting data, they need to find ways to understand who bought their shoes. No? And you can also bring more examples and partially what you're doing with that.
Sure. Yeah, so I think, there's a lot of opportunities, and we've talked actually a bit about macro level and individuals. Corporations, I think, really have a chance to win in this moment if they have a very thoughtful strategy to enter Web3. There are, to me, two kinds of use cases. One is the kind that actually needs to be on the blockchain, where you are utilizing some aspect of it being open or permissionless, or maybe a play-to-earn model where you're incentivizing behavior and then you're pushing out currency based on that behavior. Those types of examples are really exciting to see, and I think corporations who can find a way that their model fits within the factors of blockchain, that's incredible, but that's not the only way you can enter into Web3. There's also use cases that help with mass adoption. This moment that we're at, Chris Dixon compares this a lot in the A16Z canon to 1996. Right, pre-dawn of the internet, when we were still putting, the CD modem in our computer and trying to figure out how do we turn this thing on. That's how early we were. But I actually think this moment, to me, feels a lot like 2003, 2004, right before the dawn of social media. And we started seeing the power of the internet, but allowing us to connect. And once a couple of those companies like Facebook came online, then it spread like wildfire. So if your corporation doesn't have a type of model that fits really on I don't need to put this on the blockchain, but if I use the technology within Web3, it helps within mass adoption. And so Gary Vee issued a token. It is an NFT collection, and that NFT unlocks the utility to attend his conference. That is the same thing we did. So Web3 Equity, we have a great relationship. We're based in Miami, and the mayor of Miami, Miami delegation in the house. The mayor of Miami has been quite vocal and beating the drum around the crypto capital. Our mayor of the county, Mayor Danielle Levine-Cava, even brought FTX to start our arena. So they backed a NFT collection to educate and onboard more users to Web3. I could have put this content on Coursera. I could have just put it on a website. It doesn't need to be an NFT. But by it being an NFT, it unlocks people trying it for the first time. So corporations can either explore what are the aspects of my business that could benefit from blockchain technology, or if they're not there, great. I might push an NFT strategy just to help the mass adoption and to help my consumer base take that first step into Web3.
No, and I think you'll be seeing a lot. Last week we had Audi, Puma this week. They're all tasting the waters, testing the waters, and being able to, see how that goes. And even Nike bought one entire company into that to get into that business. And everybody is in this learning thing. And just to, my piece of rap, and I always say, I don't know if you guys saw this tweet, if you're reading this, you're early.
Yes.
We're all early. And I think the best way anybody here in this room can start is by being attached to a project, pretty much like the turtles, and joining a project and learning and being able to take not first the profit, but you can flip NFTs, JPEGs are great to flip, but also think on what else can I bring on?
Yeah, absolutely. So yesterday I was on a run in the Palacio de los Retiros, if I'm saying that right, for my Spanish people. And I went on this run, I'm going straight, and then I see this beautiful garden over here, and I turn left, and then I thought I was going to keep going that way to the fountain, but I saw something really pretty, and I turned right. To me, that feeling of being in that park in the middle of Madrid is like what Web3 is. You go in, you take your first step, and you're like, I think I'm just going to buy an NFT. Oh yeah, joining the Tuttle tribe with Michelle to educate and onboard sounds great. You're going to do that, and you're going to think you're going this direction, and then you're going to be like, music? Music is on the blockchain? What's happening over here? Oh, let me go over here. That's the moment we're in. Try, explore, go in the park, see, feel it out. Don't go in probably with, all of your assets, right? You're exploring, but play around. See what you like, what suits you. This is the moment to do that. And so I think my parting thought is, we were joking when we came up on stage and we said, "Wag me." So "wag me" is a term really common in the Twitterverse and in the blockchain world, which means we're all going to make it. You all chose to be in this room when there's a lot of other talks that are really strong happening. You're going to make it, all right? That's what "wag me" stands for. So thank you guys so much for being part of this conversation.
Thank you.